Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Great League remix video. Today I'm going to be showcasing my final remix team, which actually done very well for me. It got me all the way up from 2650 to 2800 elo. We ended up hitting expert with this team, and I've got to say Diggersby is just so much fun to use in this meta. Diggersby is a Pokemon that I never really knew about until I started playing Pokemon Go, and it's now my favourite Pokemon. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below. For today's question of the day, I'm copying Callum on Toast here. Actually, my overlay looks a little bit like Callum's. I'm doing question of the day. Might as well call myself King on Toast at this point. But today's question is, which Pokemon is now one of your favourite Pokemon that you didn't really like before, but you now really like because of Pokemon Go? For me, hands down, Diggersby. Such a bulky Pokemon, such a ton of fun, and I really love this moveset of Quick Attack and Fire Punch. Hyper Beam is the recommended moveset in the Open Great League. However, for this particular team, which by the way, I have to give a shout out to Big ML for, I believe he was the first person to showcase this. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, that's where this team has came from. As soon as I seen a good team with Diggersby, considering I was already using Jellicent and Steelix, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just jump in, use this team, and see how good it is. And like I said guys, we went up 150 elo in one day with it. Now, full disclosure, I done my sets today, and you guys know how this game goes. Like, some days you're getting just everything you want to see, right? But for this team, I was seeing all the Carbings, all the Steelixes, everything that I wanted to see with Diggersby. However, today, I just seen the biggest load of garbage, bro. I seen... Oh, there's my phone. Yeah, like I said, today I've been busy. My wife was at the dentist, my kids were doing like a checkup in the doctor, so been fairly busy here. But yeah, sometimes I do see comments, and like I completely sympathize with the comments, because I've been in the position where like you check out a team, you see somebody doing super well with it, you queue into Go Battle League and you see just absolute trash. And that was basically what my day was today, seeing a bunch of Mandibuzzes in the back, which is kind of awkward for Diggersby. Diggersby puts up a really good fight with Quick Attack and Fire Punch, but it's not exactly what you would want to see. And then I've had, you know, leads, I've seen things like a Steelix lead, right, with Mandibuzz in the back, where it's just like a little bit awkward, and I've had to put my Mandibuzz, my Mantine, preferably for Mandibuzz, especially because we're running Psychic Fangs and Crunch and Steelix. You probably do want to put your Mantine on the Mandibuzz. So yeah, it's just been a little bit awkward, and I went on an amazing run, but I went 12 out of 25 today, and I lost a little bit of elo. I'm currently sitting around 2786, I believe, so still very good with this team. As I've mentioned a few times, the real sort of key to knowing if it's a good team or not is whenever that dirty algorithm is chasing you down the street and you're still able to salvage a day or get a slightly positive day. That's how you know it's a good team. Sometimes teams are just complete garbage and just completely reliant on RPS. However, this team is not the case in my personal opinion. These three Pokemon are doing very well into the meta. Now of course, we're running this as an ABB style team. We're weak to Electric in the lead, so you basically just want to get straight out. You're going to see me face up against like a Magnezone and some bullshit like that. So it is kind of tough if you see those types of teams. Even this team that you're watching right here, this can be awkward because I do know Thunder. Thunder is the recommended moveset because there's a ton of jellies. Mantine has become a lot more popular in the last couple of days as well. Generally speaking, the recommended moveset for this Pokemon is Thunder. So they basically beat you in every even shielding scenario with that Pokemon. So even though it's a flyer against a grass type, Fairthorn can hit back, so kind of a little bit awkward. In my personal experience though, aside from Fairthorn with the Thunder coverage, you're not really seeing a lot of electric types anymore. Charjabug has basically been chased out of the meta by Steelix and Carbink, and we're seeing a lot of sort of Skarmories, Mudboys, just a lot of variety really. I would even say that Poliwrath has been chased out of the meta. Of course, Gligar usage is quite up at the moment. So yeah, things like Poliwrath and Charjabug, definitely a lot less common at my elo certainly. I do want to quickly mention, I went for the Scorching Sands here because I knew that I needed a debuff, but I cannot survive an Ice Beam here at this range. So I really needed it, that was my win con to go for that. The opponent is building up here to the Ice Beam, they're just at it. This is going to be very close, and can we even outpace to the Aerial Ace? This is super close, we get to a last second Fire Punch. So what was a super difficult team, we managed to find some sort of a win con by getting the debuff. Of course, pretty lucky, but how many people are going to Scorching Sands and Mantine? You do have to think a little bit outside the box sometimes. But yeah, as I was mentioning, I sort of completely understand, like, you'll see a YouTuber team and then run it around your elo and it's just not working. I do think this team is, you know, quite decent, even against quite bad matchups. Despite how many rubbish teams I was seeing today, teams that just completely core break me, I was able to go barely negative, which, like I said, on a bad day, is definitely a good thing. Now, the opponent comes in here with a Greedent. Definitely a little bit of a tricky Pokemon. This little fucker is spammy as hell. This little fucker just shits out Body Slams every 2 seconds. So, yeah, it's a bit of a spam machine. They're going for Trailblaze here. There must be a Trailblaze Body Slam. I'm happy enough just to basically debuff their defense, try to get them quite low, and perhaps get a farm down. The opponent realizes that it is getting quite close. You can't really mudshot it down, and they do go for a Body Slam here. The unfortunate thing is they've ramped themselves up, so these Body Slams will hurt. I end up CMPing. Definitely a huge mistake here. I either needed to commit to the farm down, or just get an overfarm. So what I end up doing here is, I just get rid of them. I am just sick of the squirrel. I don't want to see it anymore. Back in comes Mantine. I decided to let this move through. I live any one move here. They do go for Aurelius, and I'm thinking, okay, I should be able to get off one move. I was contemplating, do I live this move? I might have just about lived it, but I do sort of need to get this a little bit lower. Even if they shield up here and go for wing attacks, I need to put them in a position where I can take them out with Diggersby. They do get off yet another Aurelius, and at this point, I can't really shield it. The opponent is dry, they will probably get to one Ice Beam, so I'm basically just going to have to shield once for it the whole way down, and basically pray and hope that Diggersby can sweep whatever's in the back. Ice Beam coming through, the opponent staying in here for a second, and they come in with Lickitung. We have a sliver of hope. So in this matchup, guys, they need 2 Power Whips to take you out. However, if you do get a debuff, 2 Power Whips will not take you out. The opponent has chipped us down a little bit, and we're not getting the debuffs, guys. This is so annoying. I'm sure you guys have had this situation as well, where like you really need the debuff, but you're just not getting it. I decide, okay, I have to go for bait at this point. I'm not getting the debuffs anyway, so I might as well go bloody Fire Punch here. The opponent shields it up. Will this actually take them out? Licky, very, very thicky. This is going to come very, very close. It doesn't KO them. They get off a move. And here goes my phone again, folks. We're not answering the phone. The opponent goes for the body slam. And back in comes Mantine, and we farm it the whole way down. We just hung up the phone, and we're continuing the battles here, folks. This is what really matters. These are the important things in life here. These clutch wins. GBL is life, ladies and gents. We don't answer phone calls around here. Yeah, we have a pretty interesting matchup here. We do threaten to one-shot them. I decided to build up to back-to-back. Did they catch? I didn't quite see if they did or not. No, they didn't. And I think what I'm going to do, because if you notice the opponent's sort of play style here, they're insta-throwing Andes, as I would like to put it. We're going to build up to the Ice Beam. I'm like, you know what? Do you know what? We're going to go big or go home. The opponent's an insta-throwing Andy. We're going to insta-swap into Steelix, get a free Dragon Tail. And this matchup between Steelix here and Gligar, not that bad. And in comes Poliwrath. This is absolutely huge. We're able to draw out the Poliwrath. Free up our Diggersby in the back, right? Get off these Psychic Fangs, which do just a lot of damage. And I'm going to make a call. I'm like, yep, Icy Wind me, big boy. They go for the Scald. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. We're going to come back in with Mantine and try and clean it up here. We do have a little bit of residual, as they would say. We go for a slight overfarm. Not that I'm probably getting to a move. If I've got something like a Mudshot user, I might get to a move. But yeah, we just want to get rid of that, basically. I'm going to throw off the Fire Punch just before they get to the dig. And hopefully this is enough. It's not quite enough, unfortunately. And I'm like, you know what? I just have to eat this. They could have a Water type in the back. I need to eat this move. It is Stinky McBinky McShitty Binker. Ladies and gents, can we do it from this range? You would be quite surprised how close Stinky McBinky can make this. Scorching Sands number 1, of course we don't get a debuff, because why would we? But I think we're still fine here. The opponent's not getting 2 free moves, and that's basically what they need to get to. We do finally get a debuff. I was going to call it for the boys, but decided not to. I'm going to behave myself here. Get to the next Scorching Sands. That's a CMP tie. So it actually did get quite close. And that's going to be good games well played. Rock Slide would not have KO'd me anyway. It wasn't even close, folks, to be honest. Let's be real. Diggersby does not give a shit. We're going to hop into the next one. It is a Magnezone. Now, guys, I'm going to pause this for a second. We're going to slow this all the way down, right? What I like to do in this situation here, if the opponent's using a 4-turn Volt Switch, and I'm using a 2-turn move, and this is the same thing if I'm using a Poliwrath versus Girafarig, Mantine versus this, Mantine versus Chargebug. Since the moves are resisted on my Pokemon that I'm swapping in, what I like to do here first is go for 1 wing attack. Because as you're about to see, we do not take the damage from the wing attack. The damage will actually get transferred across. So here we go, we're starting our wing attack here. The opponent's Volt Switch is coming through. As you can see, we do not take the damage on Mantine. The damage automatically gets applied to the Steelix. And we're basically ahead by 1 wing attack. The opponent was going to insta-swap as soon as they seen Steelix anyway. So I might as well get the free wing attack and the free Dragon Tail, as opposed to just, swapping straight out and only getting sort of 1 move through. The opponent goes for a Mystical Fire. I decide to respect it here. And I'm not even messing about. I'm just going straight Psychic Fangs, dude. I'm not even going to threaten the crunch. I'm just going straight for it. I'm literally asking the opponent, please let this go. I think I shouldn't have shielded this probably. I can live one, but I was taking Switch at all costs. Like, I did not know how much that was going to do. Was not willing to risk it. I'm like, you know what, screw this. We're taking Switch at all costs, and in comes a Decadui. A shiny Decadui with the Community Day move, no doubt a Frenzy Plant. The opponent's going to have to throw here, unfortunately for them. And in comes Frenzy Plant. They don't go for Spirit Shackle, which is quite interesting. They come into their Magnezone, we come into our Fickersby. It's basically game over. Wild Charge, double resisted, Mirror Shot. Hits like a White Claw, and we're going to basically just take this match very simply here. I'm not even going to mess about going for Fire Punch. I'm going straight Scorching Sands. I'm going to go for free and throw for good timing. And I'm even going to get a slight overfarm so I can get move off on the Decadui whenever it comes back in. try to force their energy or force a shield or whatever. The opponent just lets it go, they know it's over. Not a really whole lot they can do against Mantine as well, so if you ever do get in that situation where Steelix can take swap, you take swap. Like, you don't align your Mantine to the Magnezone, you're just screwed at that point. And in this matchup here, it's quite an interesting lead. So, Vigoroth, it doesn't have charge attacks that can hit Diggersby. Not Diggersby, Steelix, it no longer can hit Steelix with any charge move. It's really just the counter damage you have to watch out for. Now, I do end up CMP tying here on the body slam. A little bit unfortunate, a little bit naive of me to think that they would build up to the rock slide again when they only really need the body slam. I don't always like swapping straight out, especially because Vigoroth can put in a lot of work to Steelix. I do like staying in, trying to get shields. We end up getting a shield advantage out of that match, and I just need to hope here that they've got a counter user in the front. Surely they don't have another counter user in the back. They come in with Jellicent, so I'm pretty happy with this, especially because it's on Hex as well. They do get to the moves faster, and we get the defense drop. That's pretty huge here. These Dragon Tails are absolutely chunking, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got a really good opportunity just to go for another crunch and basically permanently debuff anything that comes in here. I can basically set up Diggersby to be in a really good position. Now, they still do have the Vigoroth alive. We'll see if they want to come in with that, or if they want to come in with their last Pokemon. They come in with Charjabug. I insta-swap into Diggersby, and the opponent instantly top lefts. Like I said, Charjabug really has been chased away by things like Diggersby, Carbink, and Steelix in the meta, so it certainly is a lot more difficult to run. And it's really just what happens in these cups. The meta evolves over the week. At the beginning of the week, it was all Poliwraths, all Charjabugs. Like, it was literally Licky, Poly, Charja. There wasn't too many Glygars. People were, testing a few bits and bobs. Maybe like a few Vigoroths, a few like interesting teams, right? But it was very, very centralized around Poliwrath, around Lickitung, around Charjabug. But then people started introducing new teams, and people started getting countered by certain things, like Carbink came into the fray. Because of course at the start, we just had a ton of Skarmory Double Mudboy and all that kind of stuff, right? Skarmory Double Dragon, as you've seen. Certainly my favourite team to play against. I've played this one guy who's using Skarmory Double Dragon. He's been using it all week, and I've beat him every single time with Steelix. I kind of feel bad for him at this point, but the meta certainly has shifted around, and if you are still using Charjabug, it may be looking a little bit difficult here on the final day of the cup. Today, I really did notice like a big uptick in just really weird teams, actually. Like Galarian Weezing teams for some ungodly reason. I don't know why people are using Galarian Weezing, but it is pretty annoying whenever they're coupling it with Steelix and Cresselia, or Lickitung Cresselia. Speaking of which, we do have a Cresselia here. It is in Confusion, and we do have a lot of health left on Steelix. We have enough health to potentially get off one or two moves. We get off a Psychic Fangs as well, which is quite clutch. It'll put it in a position where we can basically look to, and the shielded as well. The opponent is not clearly counting moves here. Puts it in a position where we can look to do a lot of damage with Aerial Ace and Wing Attack. Maybe get the final shield and put it into a range where we can quick attack it down. Now, the opponent doesn't know Grass Knot. However, these moves are very, very slow with Confusion. They built up a lot of energy here, so we're going to have to respect this move. It's 5 Confusions and then 4 for the next one. Back in comes Lickitung. The opponent's Cresselia is fairly dry at this point. They shield the Licky, trying to get off the Power Whip. I'm not going to let that happen. Power Whip's going to do more damage than the Grass Knot from Cresselia, and we do just outpace the Cresselia. So as soon as I shielded, I'm going instantly for another Fire Punch. Just get rid of it, play it safe, and we should be basically fine to take that out. Now in this next battle, we are playing once again against our good friend Zyrobite. I played him in yesterday's video as well. He's got the Jellicent lead. I wonder if this is the team that I was actually showcasing a few days ago with Jellicent, Steelix and Diggersby. Steelix and Carbink, because if it is, Diggersby's just going to absolutely feast. It's kind of ironic that I showcase a team and now I'm using a team that beats that team. It's kind of like a little sort of funny joke that people have about, YouTubers upload a team and then start using a team that counters it. I inadvertently started doing that with this team, which is quite funny. And now that I think about it, I was showcasing Toxapex the day before. Diggersby just beats that team as well, so it is quite funny how that works. I guess it's like, I'm evolving to what I'm seeing as well. My team is beating the previous team and this team's beating that team. The meta just constantly evolves and you have to keep adapting to it at times. Sometimes you just get a team that just runs the whole way through. It is very rare for that to happen because the metas always do shift in these limited cups. And even in the Open Great League and Ultra League and things like that, you do see things starting to move in a certain direction after a while. So it is just being able to recognize what is popular at the moment and trying to build around it. I think I didn't recognize that today. Yeah, per Zyrobite, he's using the same team I was using. So this is just basically curtains here. Even though we don't have any amazing charge moves, we just have a lot of bulk against this thing. We resist everything, and we can just debuff it into oblivion, basically. Carbink can still make this quite close, because if you have a look at the situation, we're in the 1-to-1 shields. We're doing double resisted Dragon Tails, which is never great. So this will be a long drawn out matchup, but I think we should be in the driver's seat. We're getting our third debuff off here. The Dragon Tails are going to start hitting a little bit. As you can see, they are starting to wither it away. They do clear the debuff here. We come back into Mantine. Basically putting this in a position where it can actually do something. The opponents here, of course, they just want to farm the Mantine down. So I'm not going to shield it. I'm going to try to farm them the whole way down. If they take me out, that's even better. But I can actually get off an Ice Beam here. So this definitely works out. I was happy for them to get me low and for me to get this damage off. Because like I said, you're about to see this does start getting close after a while. Especially because they've cleared the debuff. They will go for, luckily enough, a Moonblast. Moonblasts do start adding up after a while. And this match can get a little bit awkward and tricky. If you do have Breaking Swipe, you can debuff their attack. And it makes it just completely miserable for them. But we don't have Earthquake or anything like that. So it's always going to be sort of a long drawn out match. And it almost goes down to the timer. This guy, Devenger, I recognize this guy's name. I don't know if you're watching, by the way. You know, apologies, I'm completely RPSing you every day here. But he's been running this team of Double Dragon in the back for the last like 3-4 days at least. Every time I faced off against him, it's been Double Dragon. So I didn't recognize it at this point. But I ended up playing him today and I recognized that he'd done that exact same strat. Brave Bird and dip the Mantine, come into Dragonair. But Steelix just literally beats the whole team, like, and I sort of recognize this because I've played this team several times over the last week. I'm like, okay, this is just Double Dragon, dude. So he, of course, shields here. He wants to try to get off some damage on Steelix. This thing literally just beats the whole team. So he sort of does need to get some damage for it on this Pokemon. Skarmory here, we're going to go for a Crunch. And I think I definitely want to try and escape out of this matchup if possible. I'd be more than happy to sack the Mantine at this point. I do actually come into Diggersby, and I'm happy enough just to get an overfarm. In comes Dragonite, and you're going to see, even though these are resisted Fire Punches, they do chunk, the quick attacks chunk, and if they want to take me out quickly here, we're going to have to go for the Superpower. However, the problem is, if they go for Superpower, they're going to lower their defense heavily, and basically one Dragon Tail from Steelix will take them out. So I think we're in a very, very good position. Superpower coming through, we don't live that, unfortunately. That would have been close. We farm it the whole way down, and we're going to look to go for Psychic Fangs and Skarmory. I could have just went for Crunch, probably would have been better, but actually, yeah, they are super low here. The opponent is still forced to furrow, so just a super, super bad situation to be in, folks. And even a Brave Bird from this range is not going to kill Mantine. In fairness, he made this match pretty close, but it's just such a rough team. I do end up, just to be safe for the move, absolutely unnecessary, but good games well played, and yeah, that's what happens when you run teams like that sometimes. You just run into that one core breaker. In this next match, we've got a little bit of Mantine on Mantine here. So I'm predicting this is going to be either my team or the exact same team except for Carbink instead of Diggersby. So I do be thinking here that Diggersby is the win con. Now, having played this match out a couple of times, Mantine versus Mantine, I've now realized that the most efficient way to do this is probably go for triple Aurelius, because 2 Ice Beams do not KO. So triple Aurelius is in fact the play. So I decided just to let this through. I'm hoping they just take me straight out. And I'm going to look to basically get a farm down. So this is perfect here. I want to get the farm of Steelix and basically look to RPS the backline. Yeah, so they're coming in here, which means they do not have Diggersby. If it's not Diggersby, I didn't throw the move first. I should have thrown the move first. That was a mistake here. But if they don't have Diggersby, they certainly have Carbink, which means that I'm basically home free at this point already. The opponent gets that annoying debuff. Definitely quite annoying, but we were ahead in energy. So we should be able to hopefully just outpace here. And if not, yeah, so they're letting these moves through at the stage. They do finally get the debuff. I'm thinking here, yeah, we can definitely live one more Crunch, and I go for the Simul Swap. They come into Stinky McBinky McShitty Binker, and we're just going to go ahead and fire off these moves. Kind of fortunate that they Simul Swapped. It's quite hard to farm Steelix down with Quick Attack, and I think the opponent just concedes the match very quickly there. Not really a whole lot they can do. Once again, guys, we're seeing a team that I helped popularize, probably. It's going to be the Jellicent, Steelix, and Carbink, or some sort of variation of that team. I go to 7, go for the Aurelius. And in my experience, I have never been Bubble Beam baited, or sorry, Surf baited or Bubble Beam baited, right? It's been Shadow Ball every single time. However, today, something absolutely hilarious happened. I was streaming in my Discord playing these battles that I talked about today, and it just so happened that for some reason the opponent threw on 6 hexes, they threw an alignment, and I was just chatting away, saying, okay, this is definitely going to be the Shadow Ball, and for some reason I clicked No Shield. The opponent on that one occasion, for some reason, they decided to bait the Mantine. So I no-shielded a potential Shadow Ball and got surfed, which was pretty hilarious. Now, we're seeing a very different team here. This is not what I was anticipating. It is actually Guzzlord and Gligar in the back, so quite an interesting team. I feel like this might have been a Homeslice Henry team. I know he was showcasing Guzzlord, but now that we've debuffed the Gligar's defense, you're going to really see the power of Diggersby here. These quick attacks are absolutely chunking. These, I don't know why I'm going super Belfast here. These quick attacks are fucking chunking them, so they are. These quick attacks are ripping through them. Yeah, but they are though. Look at them go. We're eating these digs for breakfast. We're just farming them down, bro. Zero fucks given at this point. Just farm it the whole way down. Just farm the whole team down. I was gonna fire punch him because I was at like 50 moves. And guys, we get a nice little 4-1. If we have a look at the elo here, I think we were 2706 at this point. This should be enough to get expert here, or so I thought. 2749. Let's hop into the next one, folks. Let's hop into the next one. We've got a Mantine versus Farthorn. A little bit awkward. We're going to go for Ice Beam. I assume that 2 Ice Beams is probably the way to go in this matchup. And we do go for the Dirty Catch here on the potential Thunder. I have never, I mean, in like several matchups, I have never seen them throw Thunder off the rip. So you probably just no-shield it, to be honest, and, you know, come back to the video and complain about getting thundered. I think that's the play for sure. They come into their Bubble Jellicent, a little bit awkward. But I do realise that I just can't get a lot of farm with Mantine, and hopefully look to sweep with Diggersby. We have seen Jellicent with water coverage. We've seen a grass type. Surely they don't have free Pokemon that just beat Diggersby. I'm going for a huge farm. Can I farm it the whole way down? I decide not, probably. And I decide to get off this last second move. They come in with Stinky, McBinky, McFlinky, Binky. And the really good news is here that we just heavily outpace to these moves. It takes them 12 turns to get to the Power Whips each and every time. And it takes us 5 turns, or sorry, 5 2-turn moves, so 10 turns, right? So we're going to be outpacing these by two turns. We're going to be outpacing by 2 turns here each and every time. So we should be able to hopefully get off free Fire Punches before they get off free Power Whips. So I could just basically shield all of these. These are going to be the hardest hitting moves left. Sometimes, if you know what the last Pokemon is, you need to be shielding the hardest hitting move. Don't be letting shit go just because like, oh, I'm just going to keep a shield. What's the point? Shield the hardest hitting move. Also, it's good to like shield a guaranteed hard hitting move. Like, it's not like they're going to be going for Thunders and Diggersby. They are only going to go for Power Whip. This thing, like, they could build up to the move and then go for the Rock Slide. I'll end up shielding Rock Slides, and look, they're getting us quite low here, right? Like, this thing can actually put in work against Diggersby. It's an annoying Pokemon to deal with. Look at this. Look how close this is getting. They outpace us to the move. They're actually taking us out. So we definitely needed to shield up the Power Whips here. Rock Slide takes us out. Can this... Oh, I hate this Pokemon. Even though I was using it. Does this take them out? It doesn't take them out, but we can just about wing attack it down. Carbink is never easy, even if you've got Diggersby. It's such a tricky Pokemon. In this next one here, we have a Buzzwole. Just about the best lead you could possibly ask for. In comes Licky. I decided to do some wing attack damage, and then come in with the Diggersby. Arguably, you could stay in for the move, but I've sort of just done a boomer swap, to be completely honest. I shield up the first move, just in case I am able to get the debuff. I do not, unfortunately, but I should be in a decent enough position. I think this is quite a good IV Licky. I think there is actually a Lick breakpoint, believe it or not, because I'm noticing these Licks are just doing absolutely nothing, whereas sometimes Licks do add up a little bit. I could just be talking complete nonsense here, but it seems to be the case here. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. It's just, I'm just by the eye test, right? On the eye test here, that's what it seems to look like. Back in comes the Buzzwole. I hate this Pokemon as well. It's such a stupid Pokemon. And they just top left, bro. They're like, it's over. It's just over, apparently. The opponent said to themselves, I just lose. And we're going to hop into the next one. Vigoroth here, quite awkward. Once again, as I mentioned, we don't have to worry about the charge moves. Really just the counters, so I'm going to chip it a little bit here and look to try and catch the Rock Slide. The opponent does not fall for it, but we're going to have to eat 3 Body Slams here, probably 4 maybe. I'm not too concerned about it. As long as I can just chip it down into a range where Steelix can farm it, I'm basically happy here. And we'll leave ourselves quite low. We'll go for Psychic Fangs. I'll leave ourselves quite low. Make sure the opponent's not getting just an absolute ton of farm on us. And we should be in a pretty decent position here. We've got enough health to basically get off some debuffs in the opponent. And as you can see, we're very, very low. The opponent only gets off 1 Incinerate here. And we'll get the Psychic Fangs off, which makes the match a little bit more comfortable for Mantine. In fact, Diggersby, why would it come in Mantine, right? Either of these Pokemon are perfectly fine in that situation. You resist the Incinerates on one, and you resist the Shadow Balls on the other. I would rather not have to worry about Shadow Ball. I'd rather just take the Incinerates on Diggersby and go for this. The opponent is actually shielding up their Skelly, so I decide, right, time to catch a Disarming Voice on the old Mantine. And the opponent does oblige and go for that. We're only 2 off the move, and the opponent's debuffed. Remember, we debuffed their defense. So this is going to do a lot of damage. I think the opponent completely forgot. They did an extra Incinerate, and they swap out to Skarmory of all things. Quite surprised that they didn't come into Skarmory a little bit sooner in that situation. But here we go, folks. A little bit of Mantine versus Skarmory action. These Ice Beams, you do definitely need free to KO. As you can see, we can't quite get rid of it here. Bit of an annoying one, and they're farming us the whole way down. I don't necessarily have the greatest Mantine. I decide, okay, I sort of do need to shield this here. They do get off a sky attack, and this is probably going to be the Brave Bird. I'm thinking like this is going to do more than a disarming voice. I still think that is the case. We farmed that the whole way down as well, and that's just basically curtains for the opponent. Their win con was to catch a fire punch. It just wasn't going to happen there, and even if they didn't catch a fire punch, or even if they did, I don't think it was going to make a difference. Good games, guys. 3-2. We're going to 3-2 set there to finish it out. I did a further set and went 4-1, but we're running out of time for today, folks. We're running out of time for today. 2763 here in the video. We got ourselves all the way above expert with his team, and yeah, definitely big fan of Diggersby and big fan of the team. Once again, shout out to Big ML for the team. And it was actually Hugo A Plays who I was watching play it first. And of course I realised that it was showcased by him before, but good games well played, guys. We've got the new outfit, definitely pretty cool, and hopefully we can close out the legend push in the next week or two. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a like in the video, and I'll catch you guys next time.